Cool. So that looks good. Minimize that. Type a little something here. Hello all. Got that over in the text box, and let's get rolling. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy Saturday evening to you here. It's going to be a quick and straightforward stream again. I'm just grinding out milestones for the Supreme Arena. Excuse me. And just about there. I only did a couple, maybe a couple rounds from last night. So the idea today is to get the last milestone and then push forward onto the stretch goal. Try and wind up somewhere in that 1 to 10%. So it's gonna be really straightforward. Just gonna be having some fun, kicking back, putting up some points, and kicking some butt. So welcome aboard. So I still interesting. So it says error entry. Well, if you guys wanted buffering, my bad. It says it's something funky between my setup and YouTube, but everything seems to be going pretty okay so far, at least on my preview end. So, sorry about that. Hopefully that winds up fixing itself here coming up. But if not, then we'll have to see. Have to back out and maybe start up a new connection. See if that improves anything. Because it went from perfect stream to not so perfect. Interesting. Interesting. Well, how about this? Maybe that'll help a bit. So the preview looks like it's lagging a little bit. I suppose this is just something I need to go back and do a bit more homework on later on to see how I can further optimize all this. So let's see how this works. Okay, I'm just gonna roll with it. If it winds up buffering or acting wonky, again, my apologies. If it gets to be too bad, just throw a comment over in the comment box, and I'll try and reboot and see if that helps things out a little bit. But again, tonight is just super straightforward. We're just having some fun, putting up some extra numbers. I'm about maybe 1 or 2 teams shy of the 12 mil milestone. I'm going to be going up to about 15. So I'm guesstimating that that's going to be about 1 full rotation of my 6 stars and some of my highest ranking 5s. So we're just gonna, kick back, have some fun, enjoy the Saturday evening. No, I didn't get a chance to do this before the stream started up, but I am 99% sure that I'm going to be taking up my 5-star thing to rank 5. I've got a bunch of science tier 4 class in the overflow, and a whole bunch of tier 2 alpha from Act 6 completion too. Problem is that I don't have enough tier 5 to best utilize all that, so that means I'm going to need to rank up some of my 5 stars instead of jumping into my 6s, which is not a bad thing, because there are a bunch of 5s here that are still a lot of fun to play with and are going to be super useful, so not mad about that at all. It's just, you know, strategic, a bit of strategic planning to where to best divvy that all up so nothing winds up expiring. So like I said, you know, Thing is going to be the first of those rank ups. That way it gets the excess science out of my stash. And then I'm going to try and get a 6-star up to rank 2. That's my goal, to somehow finagle that before everything expires in 3 weeks. But most likely, it's going to wind up being 2 additional 5 stars to rank 5, just to best utilize the resources. Each 5-star going from rank 4 to rank 5 requires 6 tier 2 alpha, whereas a 6-star going from rank 1 to rank 2 takes 7, which is good because I need to burn tier 2 alpha. The difference though is that the 6-star takes 3 rank 3 or tier 5 basics, whereas the 5-star only requires 2. Hey, how's it going? Happy Saturday. So that's what I'm thinking, that I'm going to wind up just taking the 3 5-stars to rank 5, just to save some of the tier 5 basic and then burn as much tier 2 alpha as I can. So not my first choice, but it's not a bad choice either. So like I said, Thing is going to be going up later, and then probably a Cosmic, and then probably a Mutant. So as tempted as I am to just jump the gun for Silver Surfer, I'm really interested in just going for a Hyperion. And then just have a rank 5 Hyperion for a while and do Silver Surfer after that. Good. Good to hear. So we'll wind up seeing. We'll see. It'll be fun to have a Hyperion at that level. I've seen some of Brian Grant's videos where he uses Hyperion for some of the Alliance events. And it's just absolutely nuts what that guy can do at a high level. Plus it'll be really nice too, because Hyperion isn't a 6-star, so that's a very worthwhile 5-star to rank up. And that's also why I was thinking Thing as well, because I was torn for a bit between Thing and Torch about who to rank up to rank 5. Both of them are phenomenal champs, both of them are solid prestige options, both of them are a lot of fun to play. Oh well. Are a lot of fun to play, but I went with Thing just because I think he benefits more from a high sig level, whereas Torch is just as effective unduped as he is duped. So in the case that I ever pull either one of them as a 6-star, hopefully someday, then I won't feel as bad about ranking, having ranked one of them up already as a 5. So it'll be fun to play around with. I have Thing as a rank 4, and he's been really fun to play in arenas, but I haven't taken him out, you know, in some of the Act 6 content or in Alliance events, just because he's been a rank 4. So it'll be fun to see what he can do, especially as I'm able to, you know, keep adding to his sig levels, you know, build up his tankiness and be able to eat some of those special threes. So, fun times. So how's Saturday been treating everybody here? I know it's Easter and Passover coming up. So if you guys are celebrating either of those or have plans for those, I hope you have a fun time. Especially with all of the wonky, you know, considerations going on nowadays. Still get to enjoy the holiday a bit too. Or if you celebrate neither, then happy Saturday evening and happy regular Sunday to you tomorrow. So a little something for everybody. But it's been nice. It's been nice. It's definitely been a change, and you know you definitely have to take the appropriate accommodations and precautions. But it's still been fun at night once you know get a chance to just plunk down for a bit, play some MCOC, put up some points, and kick back for a while. Let's go ahead and claim that last milestone. So I'm going to be guesstimating thereabouts that. So my charging cord's been on the fritz. It's not a brand name product, which is why I'm assuming that it's going kaput a lot sooner than it otherwise should have. But still, it's pretty annoying that something that should work doesn't work. But what are you gonna do? So again, I'm planning on putting up about, well, see how far I get. Goal is about 15 mil. But if I wind up overshooting that by going through the 6 stars and high-ranking 5s that are currently available, then that works out too. Because again, I'm just going for the 1 to 10 bracket. Get those 200 6-star shards, get the 2,000 5s. Because all of that helps contribute to my next featured crystal disappointment. It'll be really interesting to see about midday tomorrow what Supreme actually winds up going for as a 5-star. My guess, because we were talking about it in my Alliance chat, some people were thinking that she's going to go super low, like in the 40s, just because, you know, she's a good champ, but she isn't going to be replacing any Dr. Dooms on anybody's roster anytime soon. And some people were thinking super high, because if a champ like Terrax winds up going for 55 mil, you know, what's an actual good champ going to go for? And they were saying like 60 or 70, which is crazy. So it'll be fun to see where she actually winds up falling. If it's on the lower end, then I definitely hope to be able to put up some points and see if I can go for an arena. That'd be fun. But if it's anything too crazy, then I'm just not going to bother, because ain't nobody got time for that. That's what I found out when I did the Terrax grind. I thought that I'd be able to put up a lot more points than I wound up being able to put up, just based on, you know, the current situation, and then, you know, having a slightly more developed roster from when I did the Doom grind end of last year. But nope. I was able to put up about 45 million points, playing constantly and then just refreshing, not even refreshing, just playing champs as they became refreshed. Got me about 45 mil naturally. Come on, Annoyalus. Let's dance. So that's something. That's something. Then we'll see, because then if she winds up, you know, depending on what she goes for, and that's gonna influence if, you know, I wind up going for her in the arenas. And we'll see who the champ is going to be for next week. If it's somebody, you know, fresh and interesting, if it's going to be some sort of synergy champ for the both of them. But then Storm X the week after that, she's the one I'm super excited for. She seems nuts. That, and I just love the design of the character. But I'm a sucker for good art. So we'll see. We'll see. And then that should just about... No, they got one more. So it's going to be for the following featured crystal. It's going to be Supreme, who's out now, Storm X, and then one more after that, I think. And it's going to round out the next featured batch. So it'll be interesting because the current featured batch is good-ish. You know, you've got your Mole Man, who's kind of on the side of things. You got your Silver Surfers, who, you know, the highest prestige champ in the game currently, and then you've got your Long Shots and Mojos, who are disgustingly useful and good and fun to play. And Squirrel Girl, because she's in there too. So then the next one would be, who would it be? No, I take it back. There's a whole nother set. There's a whole nother set. I'm getting ahead of myself. Because Mole Man was the cutoff for the last crystal, so Terrax would be the first one for this. So we are 3 champs deep. We're halfway through the new featured batch. See who the new 5-star vintage champ is, if they put in Black Bolt since he already exists, or if they introduce somebody else like Ms. Marvel, like OG Ms. Marvel, or I don't know, somebody else completely random. War Machine. War Machine needs an upgrade, or at least a little bit of love. I was talking a little bit earlier about it's interesting that they haven't like reintroduced OG Ms. Marvel into the current meta as either a 5 or 6 star. But they haven't given War Machine a whole lot of love either. And, you know, granted, he's got a really annoying, basically undexable special 1, but other than that, his kit is extremely average. You know, he's fun to play and he can do a lot of stuff and he's not a bad champ, but, you know, he's on par with like Civil Warrior, you know, where Civil Warrior can do a lot of stuff. He's got a crazy armor ups, he can power drain, he can heal block. Good, useful stuff. It's just that the numbers aren't there, which makes him incredibly mediocre. And War Machine is in the same boat. So hopefully they give those two a little bit of love. I don't think we're ever going to see the 5-star Wolverine or the 5-star Scarlet Witch, because reasons. Which is really dumb too, personally thinking. You know, Kabam says that they're going to be too overpowered if they're introduced as 5 or 6s, which I respectfully disagree, because there isn't that anything that they can do that some of the modern champs can't do better, you know? Like, Scarlet Witch has a lot of random stuff pop up, and, you know, her heal is random and pops up and that can stack, and her poison pops up randomly and that can stack. Which is annoying, and it's useful if you're on offense, and it's super annoying if you're on defense. But it's no more annoying than Domino, you know? Because at least you know, with Scarlet Witch, you can either have a poison immune champ or shrug off that debuff with some of your skill champs. Domino, it's just passive degen damage, so unless you're Gladiator or Hulk, you just have to eat it. So, to that I respectfully disagree. Or like, when she gets a couple of Furies stacked up, her special 2 is gigantic. Which, yes, is true. You can get a huge crit off of that special 2 and some of the special 1s, but not as big as Ghost. And Ghost is a lot more reliable to be able to get those big numbers consistently, you know? So I don't know. I don't buy the logic. I just think it's them playing coy, that there's going to be a 5-star Scarlet Witch Cav Crystal or something at some point. And, you know, you're going to sell that for 300 units a pop, and people are going to spend a fortune to get the legacy champ that they remember. And they're going to be good, but not as good as they remember, you know? So, maybe bringing Torch to that Marvel fight wasn't the smartest thing to do. But too late now. I'm going to try and bait out. Oh, that worked. That worked surprisingly well. Yeah, still on the fence about Torch. Because I think Torch is more immediately useful with his heal block, reversal, whatever, with the incinerates. But, that's, ouch. Stop it. Ouch. Stop it. If I can get, perfect. Get that off, see what that does. But Thing, because of his Sig ability, it's the only reason I'm going with Thing instead. Reed is in the same vein as Torch, where most of his usefulness is in his base kit, as opposed to his awakened ability. So, but then again, not like I'm going to get any of them anytime soon anyway. Because my Science 6-star roster is adequate, with Wasp pulling majority of the weight, but outside of that, that's it. Cheers. So what do you guys think? With Marvel pushing back their release schedule based on world events till later on in the year, do you think that Kabam is still going to push forward with their movie tie-in characters? Or do you think those are going to get kicked down the road too? Because my guess is that when the Black Widow movie was supposed to come out, was that next month? That they were either going to do a Red Guardian, a movie Black Widow, or a movie version of, I forget her name, her sister. Because it'll be interesting to see what they do. If, like, the new Black Widow character is the Black Widow character that the OG champ should have been buffed to in the first place. Or what, but it'll be interesting. I still think that they might wind up pushing ahead with the character releases as planned, just because of their pipeline, you know. Because I doubt very much that they would have, what would it be, June's characters ready to go already, to be able to just trade places with the May characters. And I doubt that they would do like an entire month of just filler content too, you know, so. But it'll be interesting. We'll see. But that's, you heard it here first. That's my guess. Is that it's a Red Guardian and what's her face? Black Widow's sister. I forget from the trailer. As the two champs. Now, whether or not they'll both be skill or not, we'll see. Guardian might be science. Just for no other reason, because we haven't had a science champ in a while. Hey, how's it going, friend? I'm going to be going for... I'm going to be shooting for about 16 mil, I think, total. I'm aiming for the 1 to 10% bracket, and 15 mil hasn't been cutting it recently. Especially the last few weeks, with how things are going. Everyone seems to be pushing a little bit more. Plus, you know, everyone's getting a deeper roster now too, so 16 mil. Probably 6.3 or 16.3, 16.4 to be safe. So I'm trying to see if I can get to that tonight. I still gotta go through my 6 stars, and I'm currently about 13 mil, so it should be pretty close to being right about there. But I may need to do a round in the morning too. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Were you thinking of doing the 1 to 10% bracket, or are you going for featured, or what are you thinking? And then let's do Iceman. Iceman's the champ I'm thinking of taking up with my mutant tier 4 class. For the 2 reasons, because he's a really exceptional champ. But then also just because he doesn't have a 6-star yet either. So you have that added utility. Much in the same vein as, you know, Ghost Rider or Magic, if I was to do a Mystic champ. I've been playing this game too long. It's freaky to think now that Iceman's kit is simple by modern standards. So I remember when he first came out and he was paired with Gambit and Psylocke. Like his abilities in his kit was so long at the time. It's like he could do ice armor, and what did Cold Snap do, and what did ice armor do, and what did this do, and what did that do? Now it's just like he freezes stuff. You know? Then you get somebody like Storm X, where it's just like, you know, you got to scroll for 20 minutes to be able to get through her entire base kit before even getting to the specials or heavies or anything else. It's really why I want to do a deep dive into a segmented series where it's just simplifying everybody's descriptions and kits. So you can watch like a 1.5 minute, 2 minute video and get the character without having to read all the fine print everywhere, you know? Who knows, if that winds up picking up any steam and I wind up doing that for a while, it'd be fun to do April Fools for like King, who does nothing. He gets armor up, and that's about it. But I definitely think that there's a really easy way to simplify, you know, what everybody can do without getting too far into the weeds. Like, you know, and a bunch of champs have their own language now. Like Kingpin gets the black ISO debuff, and Mojo has millions of upvotes and downvotes, and it's just like, okay, that's cute because it ties in with the character and their personality, but you know, when you've got 25, 30 champs that all have their individual thing, that all do different things. You know, Warlock's got his virus and infection and all that. You could just simplify it and say, his buff this, his debuff that, you know. Or a special buff this, special buff that. I don't know, just something I was looking into. But we'll see. I'm still going through a backlog of video stuff that I previously recorded and just got left by the wayside. I still got to finish my Heimdall counter for the first path of Abyss. I got about halfway and, you know, just got distracted doing other things. So stay tuned if Heimdall is worth taking with. Spoilers though, if you were thinking about doing an Abyss run between now and, you know, a few weeks from now, whenever I get the last one out, it's personal preference. Like, it'll be interesting to see what the final numbers actually are, because I don't know. As I'm going through it, I'm actually tallying it up, and you know, I think it would have been useful for me to know going into it if he's worth bringing or not. Because when I did it, there wasn't any of that info out yet. So it'll be interesting to see if it's actually useful, or if it's just like a psychological helping hand. You know, where you think that you're getting more damage out of him because he's on your roster. I don't know. It'll be fun to see. I'm not sure. So we're counting down. We're about at the point where my rank 4 or 5 stars are starting to really thin out. I think I got a Mojo coming up for another round, and then start diving into the 6s. I think it was like, what, a little bit shy of 14 mil, so yeah, hopefully we were able to hit that 16 tonight. Give me a chance to sleep in a bit in the morning. Oh, well, there you go, Mojo. What a monster. I've fought him a number of times already in Alliance War. Such a pain in the tuchus. Now that's putting it mildly. Good champ, he can do a lot of interesting things, but jeez, pain in the butt to fight. I'm just gonna call that good enough. Alright, so this one's the newest thing that I'm most excited about, is a full team of rank 3s. Low sig, but still a team of rank 3s. Let's do that. Because with this single fight, having a team of rank 3s it will net you about 250,000 points per round, which, if you're an arena grinder, that's amazing. Yeah, Swag. I've been playing around with them a little bit. I did a couple paths in Act 5 and then just one in Act 6 just to take him out for kicks. And yeah, especially after you build them up, the degen damage is nuts. Like, mine's only a Sig 20 right now, so as I'm able to start pouring a couple more Sig Stones into him and then hopefully dupe him again here before the featured crystal expires. Yeah, it'll be fun to see what kind of like monstrous damage that guy can do. Plus, his animations are fun. They're silly, and they're unique, which makes his playstyle interesting. You know, it isn't the exact same punch, punch, block, punch, punch, dodge that a lot of the fights wind up being. I think that's one of the reasons that people gravitate towards some of the quirky characters. I mean, aside from their like insane kids like Quake and Ghost, but their playstyle is completely unique, you know? So if you're taking him through and just, you know, button mashing on a quest, you know, keeps things fresh and interesting. And again, just because their kits are absolutely nuts, that helps too. Yeah, it really just depends, I think, what you wind up needing them for or what you need to use them for. Like Longshot, I think, is a lot of fun and extremely, you know, particular circumstances. Like if the enemy is able to get a lot of different buffs for him to nullify and then turn into incinerates. You know, it's a lot of fun to see, you know, champs just literally melt away. But I think Mojo, especially with his regen and his anti-life field, is a lot more practical. And especially fighting him too. Longshot's really easy to fight against because he's predictable. Mojo, especially with his different prompts and whatnot, and the fact that both you and him can activate prompts to get his anti-life field up, it's so annoying. It's cool, but it's also annoying. Jury's still out if it's annoying in a fun way or a not fun way. Kind of just depends on the stakes, I guess, for an alliance war. We came up against Mojo for a war boss. It was like a rank 3 6-star. And I think, you know, for starters, the fact that somebody has a rank 3 6-star Mojo is nuts. They're either extremely lucky or, you know, are in a situation where they're able to pop a lot of crystals. But, you know, being able to go in and try and fight them, not get completely wiped out from the word go, and then try and, you know, strategize how to, you know, get as much damage off of them without getting destroyed. It's challenging. It's challenging. Good champ, though. And it's nice to see that the Mystic class has finally gotten some love. You know, Mystics went years, and it was literally years between, not even God tier champs, between useful decent champs and useful decent champs. You know, if you go onto, I'm not sure if Trucos has done it recently, but a couple of the different fan sites have, you know, plotted out which characters get released which years. Aunt May does it as well. You know, there's a huge gap between when the Mystics were released, right? So you have the initial batch with your Scarlet Witches and Doctor Stranges pre-nerf. And then you had a small little hiccup with Dormammu and Hood. And then fast forward months and months and months, you get Symbiote Supreme. And then fast forward months and months and months and months and months, and then finally you got a new Mystic, and it was Diablo. Ouch. And then Diablo, and then it was Ebony Maw, and then finally we started getting some of the interesting champs. Clairvoyant, then we got Doom, then Longshot, then Mojo, then Sorcerer Supreme right now. I'm just call her Supreme, just to keep it simple. There's too many Sorcerer Supremes, and I'm not going to say SS because that's Stealth Spidey or Stark Spidey or any of the other SS abbreviations. I'm just going to call her Supreme, keep it simple. And she's got a really good kit too, so hats off to Kabam for finally diversifying their champs a little bit more. Do I have an opinion on Sorcerer Supreme? I think she's a lot of fun. I've been playing around with her 4-star unduped at a low level. I think she's a lot of fun. She seems like a happy hybrid of Doctor Strange and Venom the Duck. So she's an excellent questing champ. Also, oh, that's going to destroy me. Is it? Yep. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Sorry, tangent. And looks good. Cool. Sorry, distracted. Yeah, happy hybrid of Doctor Strange and Venom the Duck. So she's useful for questing, and I think once you get used to playing her, she'll be useful for something like Alliance Quest too. Just because you can play around with her regen. I don't think she'll be super useful for Alliance War offense. I don't think that she's going to be able to pack enough punch to be able to get around some of the nutty nodes. She'll be fun to play, and I think it really just depends on who else on your roster you have for Mystics. If you've got like a Doctor Doom, obviously she's not going to be replacing him in terms of like your A team or maybe even B team. I kind of put her on par with Clairvoyant, with Claire having a slight edge, I think, just because of her being able to cycle different immunities. That having been said, I think she's one of the most useful, one of the more useful Mystic champs. If you wind up pulling her out of a crystal, that's awesome. Depends what she goes for in arena. If it's something like 40 high 50s, I think it's fair to grind for a 5-star. 4-star I think would still be worth grinding for, just so you can get a chance to play them or play her. But I don't think she's going to be worth the 60, 70 mil, whatever it is that she may very well wind up going for. So for a letter grade, I'd give her a solid B. But it's tough too because, if she came out before Claire came out, everybody would have hailed her as the next huge god tier, beyond god tier Mystic champ, the one that we've all been waiting for, hoping for. If she came out after Claire, that would have been, same case. But she's got a tough act to follow because she's following Claire, she's following Doom, Longshot, and Mojo, all within the last 4 months. So it's a tough act to follow, especially since the first 2 champs are available in basic crystals now. So they're a lot, I don't want to say they're easier to come by, but you have more chances to get them without either, pulling out your pocketbook or saving up for features. But she's good. She's fun. But like I said, if you've got one of those other champs on your roster already, she isn't going to be replacing any of them. And unfortunately, her synergies are kind of lackluster, which is huge for me personally. Is huge. The synergies that a champ gets, I think, can oftentimes make or break them. So that's a very long-winded answer to your question. Sorry. But that having been said, like I said, if she goes for something reasonable for the first round. I'm very tempted to go for her myself as a 5. Kind of pivoting from that a bit, it makes you wonder when they're going to introduce a 6-star arena, or at least modifying the current 5-star arena to allow for more top prizes, you know? Because there's a segment of, a very, very small segment of the gaming audience that has moved past 5s already. You know, 6 stars have been meta as soon as they started, you know, selling them in crystals. And, you know, the highest champs nowadays or highest alliances are all just 6 this, 6 that, 6s all over the place. So you would think that they would drop out of arenas altogether. But at the same time, everybody else is getting a more diverse roster themselves with a lot more 5s and 6s to be able to throw into arenas. So you got a lot more people competing for this, you know, the same 150 spots. It's been nice that they axe the bots, or keep axing some of the bot accounts to get some of the, you know, the cheaters out of the arenas, but you can only do that so many times before legit players, they're like the quantity of legit players just outweigh you know, the top rewards. So I think that's what they should do first. They should increase it from 150 to, you know, even if they did like 300, I would hope for like 350 or 400 though personally, but if they did that first, I think that would help a lot. It'd bring down the scores for one, but then it would get the champs into more people's hands, which at the end of the day is really what it should be about, you know? Cheers. Kind of makes me wish that. So I don't know if you guys remember, but way back, that's me sounding like a old fart again. Way back in the day when the game was still fresh and new, they would occasionally send out, you know, 2-star champs of the new characters. It's like, thanks for playing Contest of Champions. Here's a 2-star version of the new character, which I thought was brilliant. And I wish that they would do that still. That way everybody gets a 2-star version. So they're easy enough to awaken. With, you know, your class or 2-star awakening stones. Which, you know, you still got to put in some work to be able to get those, but they're much more readily available than, you know, 3-star stones or 4s or 5s or anything else. But you would actually have a copy of the champ. And you could awaken them, put a couple of 6 stones in them. You couldn't do anything with them because they're 2 stars, but you could still take them into some of the early game content and just try them out, you know? You don't get any really good synergies because it's a 2-star, so they only get a synergy or 2 out of the possible 3, 4, or 5 that the higher rarities have, but you get a feel for their kit and their playstyle and what they can do, where they'd be useful, and you know, you be the judge yourself. If you like how they feel, if you like what they can do, you know, then you know, you get excited for them. The content creator program is really cool, but you know, that way people get a feel for the champs by seeing other people play them, but nothing beats you yourself being able to play somebody, you know, because everybody's play style is different, and everybody winds up needing different champs for different aspects of the game, you know. So I wish that would be something that they would continue on in the future, or at least bring back, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, and the 2-star arena too. Plus, you know, it fleshes out your roster a little bit too. That way, you know, by getting a feel for the champ, if you like them, then you would think that it would inspire more people to try and grind for them in arenas, or from a business perspective, pop more crystals. That way they know what they're getting and they're more excited to try and get it, you know? But that's just me and my humble opinion. So here we go. This is the maiden voyage for my 6-star clairvoyant here, who I was not expecting to get. Stupid, stupid luck. Stupid luck. I still can't believe it. When she first came out, kind of like harkening back to that story I was just telling, you know, she was the first really, really good Mystic champ since Symbiote Supreme. And I went for her hard. Like, I wound up going for her in Arena too, but I had a bunch of units saved up and blew all of those saved units on crystals, trying to get, you know, a 5 or 6-star version of Claire. And it broke my heart because, I mean, obviously the odds are pulling anything useful out of crystals are slim to nil. But the amount of, like, troll overs that the game throws your way, especially, you know, when the game gets a feel that you want something, it's like, you're gonna get it, but nope, you're gonna get this 3-star Iron Man instead. You know, just to wet your whistle and tease you. I got enough of those where I was just twist the knife just a little bit more, you know. So it's so cool. It's so cool to have her now. And she's a fantastic champ to get as a first time champ, you know. If you want to pulling her as a 4-star or 5-star or 6-star, she's amazing to rank up just right out of the bat, because her awakened ability is nice, but she's one of those rare champs that 99% of her kit is available right from the get-go. And that, you know, her awakened ability it's nice to have, but it's nowhere near essential. Similar to like Sentinel and a couple others. I'd argue Ronin, not Ronan. Ronan, his whole ability is a SIG ability, but. Hey, cheers, PP. Thanks for watching the vids. And appreciate the like, too. I just know karma's gonna come back and bite me in the butt one of these days. But that's how it is. That's how it is, you know? Sometimes you're super fortunate and you're super lucky, you know, and you get good pull. You get a set of good pulls, you know, over the course of a few weeks or a month, and then you've got a dry spell for the next 2 to 3, you know. And fortunately, right now I'm riding a crest there, but you know, I've had too many dry spells to expect that to go on forever, you know. But for now, it's awesome. It's a really, really good feeling. Maybe someday. This is like a complete tangent right now. It's really cool that they're going back and buffing some of the old champs, like Carnage and Venom. Awesome buffs. Spider-Gwen and She-Hulk, awesome buffs. the Hulkbuster, if they wind up keeping his update, his beta update, making it permanent, he's going to be amazing. Not like beyond God tier, but amazing, especially compared to how he was. So it's really cool that they just... let me check something real quick. Yep, okay, cool. So it's really cool that they're going back, but I'd like to see them like touch upon some of the other champs again. Like, I think they could do a whole lot more with Rhino. I think you could do a whole lot more with Juggernaut. And then especially Unstoppable Colossus. You know? Like, that dude's been around forever. You have to spend a small fortune of loyalty to get him out of the store. Hey, congrats on the rank 5 Claire. Yeah, she's nuts. She's nuts. She's all around, I think, such a solid champ between the immunities, being able to swap between immunities, being able to heal, being able to power drain, being able to do extra damage. Plus, when she's awakened, then she's got the death invulnerability, which is awesome, especially when you pair that with like a Heimdall. It's nuts. Yeah, congrats. Oh, and then congrats on the 5-star pull too. Aegon Stealthy Sunspot. Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Congrats. And, oh yeah, and Groot. Hopefully they buff Groot before the Guardians 3 comes out. I mean, he's been in enough movies, you know. But, yeah, Groot, I think, just needs the numbers. I think he just needs the like a numbers increase, like increased damage, increased heals, or increased like physical resistance. Something, you know, like his ability to like shrug off the gentle nature and then just go buck wild. I think is cool. It's just that when he does go buck wild, it does absolutely nothing. You know. Which is a shame. Plus his synergy with Rocket is pretty lackluster. Or if nothing else, then change up his special one to be a bit more involved. Because it's a super easy special to just dex back and avoid. And even his special 2 does to a lesser degree. Like, it's still a little bit annoying. Not to dex, just to guess when he's gonna throw it. But yeah, he really is just lacking that oomph. Well, first off, best luck trying to go for Aegon out of those incursion crystals. I'll be rooting for you. Let me know how it goes. I'll be super curious. And does Claire work instead of Doom? That's tough. Yes and no. I think it just really depends on the fights. Claire can do a lot that Doom can. I'm gonna say yes. Doom or Claire can. You can swap Claire in place of Doom. It is gonna be harder, slower, and a bit more resource. Costs you a bit more resources. Just because Doom has the ability to chain stun, power drain, and then rack up a lot of damage with minimal effort. Claire can do all three. It just takes a bit more doing to shift between each of the different cycles. Like, she can power drain, but she can't hit hard. she can hit hard, but she can't power drain. You know, and then especially for some of the fights, like if you take the easy path, I think that'd be the best for you. But look up KT1's, a couple of KT1's videos on horsemanless Abyss runs. He's got some interesting ideas to work around Doom. Claire is an option. I think there are a couple of other options out there too that might wind up working out a little bit better. It just really depends. I think one of Claire's better abilities is just the fact that she's Mystic, and if you have Mystic Dispersion at rank 3 or above, then that's going to help you out a lot. Especially with some of the more annoying Cosmic champs like Captain Marvel and Venom the Duck. She would probably be especially useful for Champion with her debuff immunity. That way you just work around his unstoppables that he winds up throwing. Oh, that's how you got him. Cool. Yeah, thing's awesome too. I gotta go back and look through and see who even is in which of the incursion crystals. I know there's a Black Bolt in one of them, and that's who I would be going for, just to get that legacy champ just for kicks. Oh, if you've got a Morningstar. If you got a Morningstar, I will go a Morningstar instead of Claire. She's going to be tougher to ramp up, and it's going to cost you a good number of revives to get her to that. What is it? I forget what the lingo is. Rank 5. Get 5 souls stored. But once you get to that point, and if she's ranked up all the way, then you're set, because you've got the unblockable specials, you've got the regen. The bleed isn't really going to do a whole lot, but yeah, I would almost argue that Morningstar is a better option than Claire. For Abyss. For Abyss. I have better access to damage too, I think. Fortunately, especially this far out from the original release of Abyss, people have started to play around with other champs, and even though that Doom got a huge hype from the get-go, you know, and he's a good champ, I'm not gonna lie, he's a really good champ, but he's not the only answer, you know. And people are starting to discover more workarounds and in some cases better options than Doom to some of the champs. So it really just depends. Yeah, seeing some of the other vids with Morningstar really makes me interested in just, you know, playing around with mine a little bit more, dusting her off and taking her out into quests again. I think mine's rank 4, but that was a while back that I ranked her up, and I think that was really just because I had Mystic Catalyst about ready to expire. But yeah, seeing what some of the people nowadays can do with her, and with the new synergies, and with Mystic Dispersion turned all the way up, yeah, she's pretty beastly. Yeah, well, it's that backhand heavy, you know? because it's the same heavy for everybody. So no matter if it's just like some generic schmuck in an arena, or if it's like a, you know, the boss for the monthly events, or even Grandmaster or Collector or Thanos or whomever, he still, you know, backhands everybody in equal measure. So that's fun. That's fun. I very much appreciate that they. He's one of the few champs that like holds true in game as he does in the comics. Yeah, definitely. And then look into some of the synergies too. She's got a wide variety of synergies now to help her out, between Mephisto, who's really solid with heals, magic, some of the newer mystics too, that I'm blanking on off the top of my head. But yeah, she synergizes nicely with a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's special 3. That's fun. It's fun. Unless you're either against the clock, or if you're trying to do like a Legends run or something in the monthly event. Because it's really cool, but if you're against the clock, you wind up doing like 6 special 3s in a large quest, or against a tanky opponent. You gotta watch the clock, but animation-wise, it's a lot of fun. Just blast everybody in the smithereens. Was Mr. Fantastic was that a 5-star that you pulled? Because the nice thing about Reed is that he synergizes well with himself. So I was playing around with that a little bit when he first came out, because I got the 3 and the 4-star with that self synergy. He's just giving himself the extra perks. You know, can't go wrong with the Council of Ricks. Yeah, but chasing Doom though, that was a push. Just hearing some of my alliance mates' stories, because they went to try and get him out of crystals. I went for him in arena, and they went for him in crystals. And I mean, I've said it before, the Doom grind broke me for huge arena grinds. But I still, sometimes, just based on their stories, feel like I got off easier. Because that is just nuts. Nice. Yeah, Reed, especially, and then Reed with the various Fantastic Four synergies is a lot of fun. Because he just stacks debuffs up like crazy, and then, you know, you get like a good handful of debuffs on the enemy, and you're basically 100% evading. And then the other synergies just add a bit of a pack to the punch. Yeah. Yeah, it was a nice touch. It was a nice touch. They have fun sometimes. Like, I think the Familiar Faces synergy with Torch and who is it, Captain America, and Killmonger. That was a bit of fun with metagaming right there. So my hat's off to them there for doing some homework and just allowing themselves to have fun. Uh-oh. 6-star Gilly, nice. That's a heck of a consolation prize. Especially if you get the modern Alliance War season with all of flow defense now. Yeah, Gilly's nuts. It's kind of freaky though, seeing people rank Crossbones up now all of a sudden, just because of that one modifier. Speaking of which, what's up, Gilly? And an Infinity Man. Nice. Hey man, being able to pull a 6-star out of those calves to begin with is super lucky, but those two champs are really good. And really fun, too. Yeah, Warlock. Yeah. My best solution right now is just to Quake. She's not a good solution, but she's one of the best situations, or best counters I've got. I just really got to buckle down and learn how to play Gilly. I took her up for rank 5 in anticipation of Abyss, and when that didn't really pan out, it's kind of been collecting dust. But Warlock, if I get the catalysts for him, he'd be fun too. And yeah, you're right, that's a good option with the ridiculous power drain he's got. But we'll see though. I don't think that Kabam's gonna go and modify the flow power rate for next season. I think a lot of the flack and the complaining out there is just because it's something new and different, and that give it a season and a half that enough people will have adapted to it and played with it and figured it out that it's just gonna, it's just a new normal, new thing that's gonna be around. But until then, when we're still getting all the bugs out of the system, it's a bit of a challenge. Hey, take care, friend. Be well. We'll catch you in a future episode. Yeah, let's go Colossus for that Ant-Man. So I realized that I dug back into my 5-stars, even though I got a couple 6s left. But it's looking like it's in pretty good shape. Notice I hit the 16 mil mark a couple teams ago, so should put. Oh, I have 16 and a half. Yeah, I'm definitely set. Get those extra 2,000 5-star shards. And most importantly is the arena chips. which is really weird that I would ever really think that that was a big plus. Oh, rip my battery. But yeah, the golden arena chips is a huge plus. Hey, take care, Swag. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time. So let's see here. We got... Oh, that's right. The clear rounded out my teams. So we got 2 teams left here, so should be able to knock those out. Maybe do one more 5, and then I'm gonna call it good for round 1 of Supreme here. I'll be shocked if, I'm gonna guess 16.7 mil doesn't net 1 to 10. Well, cheers. Thanks for being a part of it. But you never know. It's strange times, and the arena scores are all over the place. If you had told me once the early release for Terox was out that he was going to go for 55 mil both times, I'd have laughed at you. But here we are. He went for 55 mil. And it's anybody's guess what Supreme is going to go for, so fingers crossed. It'll be interesting to see if they wind up bringing over more characters from, was it Realm of Champions? Because they've got Storm from, was it Apocalypse House, and they've got Supreme from, was it Doctor Strange, Ancient One House, whatever they're calling it. Wouldn't it be something if we get like a Peggy Carter, Captain Britain, whomever, whatever they wind up calling her in game, but a Peggy Carter champ, or I'd be really down to see a Shuri from Black Panther house. I would prefer to see her like MCU version, more so than the comic version. But yeah, I think both of them would be pretty fun to have in game too. And then see what happens. But I'm trying to remember the 2020 what map layout, whatever they were calling it, roadmap for the year. Because I only distinctly remember one champ stemming from Realm of Champions, and here we have 2 already. So I don't know, maybe they modified it, maybe they tweaked it. But if they do more, I think both of them would be fun to have, or at least fun to have in game. You know, see what they wind up doing with their kit, see if they wind up being fun to play or if they're useful. But just on paper, having them both in game. And then, you know, the huge backlog of existing characters from comics that we're all still waiting for on bated breath. Kind of shocked that they haven't done a Professor X, honestly. Have like Professor X be the mutant equivalent of Beardo or Nick Fury, where he just synergizes with everybody all over the place, and it's nuts. Like, he's the must-have mutant champ on your roster to go buck wild with different synergies and combos and team setups. But there's still time. Hope springs eternal. I think someone somewhere along the way said that he was that they were looking at him. You could have him in his his hover chair from the '90s cartoon. It's plausible. It could work. Could be fun. But we'll see. We'll see. First off, we got to see what they even do with the MCU movies getting pushed back. If they wind up powering forward full steam ahead with, my guess is what Red Guardian and maybe MCU Black Widow and whoever her sister is supposed to be. I don't know too terribly much about her comic backstory. I just hope that they call her something other than Black Widow. We have enough characters called Black Widow in the game. But that should about do me. Oh yeah, 17 mil. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I overshot that by 1.5 mils. I just got so invested, I just lost track of time. Back out of that. All right. Cool deal. There we go, guys. That's going to do me for tonight. I'm sitting at a 17 mil. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I overshot that by a good bit. Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It's a new channel, and then plus the live streams here are still fairly new too. And every bit helps me out. And until next video, take care. Talk soon. Stay safe and be well, everybody. Have a good night.